Hey Scorpio, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well because I can't hear you. I hope that you can hear me clearly because I have not checked the audio on these. I'd be really sad if I had to do them over again. I've shuffled a bunch of times off camera, but I am shuffling a few more times on camera so that you can see that they're shuffled. Leave that out since it fell over. So I feel like, that's funny because I was about to say, if you're waiting for a message, it's about to come in. I need to turn the volume off on my phone. But that's fitting. It's very fitting. So if you're waiting for any kind of communication or message, I feel like you're not going to have to wait a long time for that. So funny because the Ace of Wands is on the bottom of the deck again, and that was just on the bottom of the deck for Libra. And as you can see, I just shuffled it a bunch of times, but that's the way it goes. It's the way it always goes. So give me just a sec here. For one thing, I want to point out that of the 5 cards that we've seen, including this Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck, they are 3 Wands and 2 Cups. So you've got a lot of the fire and the water energy at work. And let's see what we got. So I feel like whatever message that you are waiting for is a message about a spiritual connection. So I feel like you're waiting to hear from somebody. That there's somebody that somebody well regarded by you who is maybe behaving in somewhat of an aloof manner because it's not that they're not in touch with their emotions, but they're in touch with their emotions in a way that they're not showing them. I feel like on some level they're aware of what they're feeling, but they're not expressing it in any way. And I feel like they look at this connection with a lot of hope and kind of an expectant demeanor and attitude, but inwardly, not in a way that you could look at them and say, oh yeah, they're very excited about this, or they even care, that they even give a minor shit about this at all. Like if you just looked at them, you'd be like, have you ever told a joke to somebody or come up and say something, sorry about that, lighthearted and silly, and they just kind of stare at you? I mean, that's happened to me. They're just kind of what are you doing? You know? What is this? or that's the vibe that you get. It's not even that they're saying that. But they're just looking at you. They're not giving anything away. They're not giving you anything to work with about the situation. I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting here. But really inside, it is like, I want this to work. I want this to be the thing. Maybe they've been disappointed a lot. Maybe they're scared to touch into that innocent, hopeful part of themselves. And maybe that's part of what's coming in for them before they can come in for you. They have to welcome in the part of themselves that would allow themselves to be excited and hopeful that something in their life could work, that a relationship could be something that's not just complete disappointment and loss. They need to do this, and maybe I think this is something that you're doing, is trusting their intuitive aspect. I feel like you're doing that. You have done that. Like you've tapped into your intuitive faculties, and that's the whole reason that you're even involving yourself in this situation. And again, it's the wands here. You've got 2 major arcana, but of the minor arcana, you've got another wand. So all of the minor arcana that has shown up is still cups and wands. But you're kind of waiting for this energy to change. You're just kind of looking into the future. And I think trying to ground yourself and not let not knowing be a thing that is terribly upsetting or throws you off too much. Because you do know, you do know. You know because of your intuition. But you don't know anything from the material because there's nothing to see. There's no evidence on the material level that would lead you to believe that things are working out. Again, this person's not giving you anything. They haven't, if you're waiting for messages from them, they haven't sent the messages. You're here waiting for the ships to come in, and this guy sees ships out in the harbor or out in the ocean or whatever the hell this is he's looking at, but he doesn't know. He can't see. They're not close to him. He doesn't know what he's even looking at. He's like, that may be my family. He's waiting on his family to come. He's like, man, I hope that's my wife and my kids, because I really fucking miss them. But he doesn't know. I mean, he's just sitting there. He's waiting. But he's waiting from a place of strength. He's waiting from a place of integrity. He's waiting from a place of recognition of his connection to the divine and his willingness to love in the face of a daunting and uncertain view of what's happening, of what has unfolded and is unfolding. Yeah, so now we finally get some minor arcana energy aside from those, although we still get some more cups here. But I feel like this again is relatable to both of your situations, you and this other person, where they're hesitant to do anything. They don't know if they want to, what plan of action they feel is appropriate to take, right? So they're just kind of distracted just by the fact that they have this choice to make, and they're unable to make any choice at all. They're not sure what to do. But this is, again, it's funny because like I said, I feel like that relates to both of you, and then these two cards to me often represent cutting through that kind of bullshit, particularly the Knight of Swords. So maybe that's you, and the Page of Swords is them. Oh, I'm going to read this a couple ways, actually. So, I feel like you're already at this Knight of Swords, right? Where you've cut through the bullshit already. As you can see, they're both kind of looking over here. They're looking at this, and that's that energy of indecision, and I don't know what to do. Oh God, caught up in their shadow, unable to see with clarity the direction to move in. And the Knight of Swords is just like, I'm done waiting. I'm cutting through this bullshit, and I'm making a choice. I feel like that's your energy. And their energy is the Page of Swords, which is like, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to make a choice. But they're still hesitating to take a swing of that sword that makes things final. They're not quite to that point where they're not quite making the choice. They're just determined, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to do this. But they're moving into that energy. They are in the process of maturing from the Page to the Knight energy, where they say finally, they get sick of it, I think. They get sick of it you only want to be in that energy of indecision for so long before you're like you don't want to be in it very long, but then eventually you're just like, fuck this. Fuck, what am I doing? Do I want this to happen or not? I want this to happen. I'm moving on it. I'm moving on it right now. I want this, before we forget, this new start with the Ace of Wands. That's what I want. I'm cutting through the bullshit. And that's why I think the swords show up so late in this reading, right? Where they're not ready to make that cut yet. They're not ready to cut through the bullshit, but they're getting there. And that's what I feel like is either going to happen this month or soon. It's the message for this month, that it's building to this. I hope that resonates with you, Scorpio. It's not a bad message. It's just that you need to wait in a place of strength and understanding that you can trust your intuition, and that things are moving in a positive direction, even though you might not be able to see that from where you're standing, because there are no indicators given to you in any kind of direct sense of the way things are moving. But they're moving in your favor, and you can trust that, because these two are aware of their connection to the divine, and that things are playing out outside of them in the way that they should. They both rest in that knowledge. The Strength and the High Priestess card, they both rest in that knowledge of their connection to the divine and how things are unfolding in the world around them. So I hope that's you, and I hope that's your energy. It looks like that's what's going on. If you like and subscribe, and if you would like a reading, check out the description box below, because I'm going to put some information in there about how you might be able to contact me so we can make that happen. I hope it's a good month for you. Take care, Scorpio.